This is your warning. There is a Bitcoin supply crisis brewing. BlackRock is coming for all the coins, man. Holy crap. Huge pump on Bitcoin. Today, I want to break that down with you, talking about some of the numbers behind what's going on, taking a look as well at the general market cap of crypto, where we are, what's going on, taking a look at some airdrop announcements that we've had, roasting a portfolio today. We just roasted on X. I'm going to share it with you here as well. And of course, answering your questions in the second half of the stream. So make sure to stick around for the fun. Looking forward, as always, to chatting with you guys. So let's dive in. Bitcoin doing things, man. We are now, this is shocking, wild stuff. We're now 20% away. We're 20% down from the previous all-time high, which is absolute wildness when you think about it, which means we just need to see the price pump by another 25% to get up there. That's crazy, man. The Bitcoin halving hasn't even happened yet. Look at what's happening to the price. Look at the FOMO that's going on for this asset. Look, beautiful breakout today. Beautiful breakout. Look at this. We were ranging sideways, basically in a big bull flag here for the past few weeks. Of course, there's always, with these sort of sideways ranging moments, the chance things could break down, but there's just so much momentum going on right now with the Bitcoin ETFs, so much excitement going on, so much money flowing in, spot money, real money coming into the market. Bitcoin just cannot be kept down. It's like you keep trying to push this ball under the water and just keep bouncing back out. That's what's going on with Bitcoin right now. This daily candle, very nice, good looking volume. Dig that. Blasting above the range. Dig that as well. How much farther we go from here, who knows? Maybe we just have a little step up, range, step up, range, step up. We'll see. We shall see. What's interesting is this has invalidated, of course, as I said, could happen, that MACD bear cross. So I said, hey, we got the MACD bear cross. Normally you'd see that possibly leading to a bit of a downturn or indicating that markets are slowing down. We could lose momentum. But with all this ETF buying, assuming that it doesn't dry up, which it hasn't, we got lots of numbers for you on that today, then break out to the upside. So nice to see it. Fantastic. I love it. You love it. Bitcoin, man, it is rocking. So Dread Bongo here saying Bitcoin about to enter overbought on the monthly RSI. Historically, this one BTC has made its largest gains. Every time in the past, Bitcoin has maneuvered itself just below previous all-time highs before it initiates a large parabolic breakout. Looks like history is rhyming once again. Now, what's interesting here, I'm almost, I'm almost getting paranoid a little bit. Things feel like they're moving too fast. Can we just slow down? Can BlackRock stop buying up all the damn Bitcoin already? What's going on here? Holy crap. The accelerated cycle theory might hold some water, but what if the cycle is accelerated, but it lasts until the end of 2025 anyway, and no one's nearly bullish enough? I'm conflicted because this is the exact kind of moon boy bull posting kind of stuff that gets me even worried a bit. Not to say Dread Bongo's doing moon boy stuff. It's a very logical comment that we see with the RSI when it hits the overbought. It can last for months, by the way. For example, back in 2017, it lasted for about the whole year. We basically had a 12-month run of the RSI on the monthly being overbought. So it can last for a very long time when it happens. Just hitting that, if you're just, oh, what? Hey, we hit the overbought, time to sell. No, I can stay overbought for a very, very long time in monthly. But when you start seeing the RSI and the monthly hitting like 90 in the past, that has been a good time to get out. Will it be the case this time? I have no idea. Again, we can stay. The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent in the bear markets, and it can remain irrational longer than you can maintain your sanity in the bull markets. Yeah. We're going to have a fun time. Hey, interesting. This could be getting a bit of wind in the sails for markets here as well. So Fed may delay rate cuts until after the presidential election. This is pretty interesting. U.S. politics could be a reason for the Fed to wait until after the November presidential election to cut rates. Santander's Stephen Stanley says in a note, the Federal Reserve is an independent central bank, but monetary policy matters to elected officials, which makes the Fed subject to a degree to the election calendar. He expects the economy and inflation to remain hotter than forecast, supporting a delay in monetary easing. Stanley says the Fed's November meeting was moved back by a day, creating one additional day of separation from the election. Assuming there is a clear winner, I see the FOMC as free to start new easing cycles at the November FOMC meeting. Now, I bring that up because what if there's a recession by then? And I know we have this whole sort of like every time there's a rate cut, the markets go down and there's a giant crash and a huge market Armageddon. Not all the time, but when it happens in a recession, yeah, all the time. If rate cuts happen outside of a recessionary environment, then it's actually okay. Markets can and do pump after that. So that's happened before. Go look at the rate cut charts, line it up with recessions, and line it up with the S&P 500, see what I'm talking about. Okay. Usually rates are cut during recessions, which means the markets are already cooked because of recessions on, and then they cut rates, creating more problems. When rates are cut outside of a recessionary environment, can be fine. We'll see how it goes, though. Worth keeping in mind, though. Bitcoin ETFs. It's the news, man. It's the news. Look at this. What the heck is going on? Eric Balkunis, senior ETF analyst over at Bloomberg, says it's official. The new 9 Bitcoin ETFs have broken all-time volume records today with 2.4 billion traded, just barely beating day one, but about double the recent daily average. BYBIT went wild. That's BlackRock's accounting for 1.3 billion of the volume, breaking its own record by about 30%. Now, to be very, very, very clear, that is not all just inflows, okay? This is people trading it back and forth, right? People are already trading huge amounts of these products. Very interesting. I love to see it. Huge volume. Great to see us here. Hey, here we go. I just want to give a quick shout out. Nameless, what's up? Shout out to all my 1+ BTC holders. What's up? Yeah, if you've managed to stack your 1 Bitcoin during the last few years, congratulations, because the chance to get 1 Bitcoin is going to be diminishing even more. In fact, I made a video, put it out 12 hours ago, basically talking about how 0.1 BTC is really now the goal. And if you get 0.1 BTC, great. You've got $5,500 of the Bitcoin, which is more than most people can say having anything invested in anything at all, let alone into Bitcoin. So congratulations if that's you. If you have 1 Bitcoin, you got the ticket, man. That's the golden ticket. But the goalpost has shifted, I think, for the majority of average investors who cannot afford to invest what is the equivalent of an annual salary for 1 Bitcoin now. The game has changed. Yeah. Wild stuff, though. Huge popularity for his Bitcoin ETF products. You love to see it. And they keep gobbling up Bitcoin. Now, the title of this video is Bitcoin Supply Crisis. And I want to deliver on the goods by talking about that very, very concept. See, right now, number of Bitcoin on exchanges keeps going down. It's getting gobbled up big time. OTC desks, as we discussed recently, keep going down. Miner selling keeps going down. Miners are running out of Bitcoin to sell. OTC desks are running out of Bitcoin to sell. Exchanges are running out of Bitcoin to sell. There is not, and there has never been enough Bitcoin for everyone who wants it. You got to remember the numbers here. This is really important. 63, 64, 65 million millionaires in the world right now. 21 million Bitcoin, max ever. 6 million lost under the tides of time. So there's 14 million, let's say. So every one of those millionaires can have 0.2 BTC. So when I say, look, 0.1 BTC is now the goal, it really is for most people. If you can get 0.1 BTC, guess what? You're actually going to be ahead of the majority of the world's billionaires and millionaires who are simply never going to be able to get enough of the stuff. Certainly your average person. And here's the thing. Monday's volumes are in for the Bitcoin ETFs. So actually last week's volume. And I want to point this out because it's really, really big. Last week, we saw Bitcoin ETFs just accounting for Bitcoin ETFs in the USA. We're not accounting for Canada. We're not accounting for Brazil. We're not accounting for ETPs trading in UK markets. We're not accounting for any of the spot demand coming from all kinds of organizations all around the world, whether it be exchanges or Swiss Post, the 5th biggest bank in Switzerland, that announced last week people can now buy Bitcoin at the post office, at the bank. Just Bitcoin ETFs. Last week, they had 12,000 Bitcoin worth of Bitcoin inflows into those funds. 12,000 Bitcoin gobbled up by BlackRock, Fidelity, and friends last week. But the problem is, last week, miners only made 6,300 Bitcoin. Do you see the problem here? We have the Bitcoin halving coming in less than 2 months, at which point the miners are only making 3,150 Bitcoin per week. Even if we see demand drop by another 50%, and we go down to, so it's $600 million last week, okay? Inflows. Even if we drop 50%, $300 million. So we're only getting $60 million a day, which is a very small number for the infinite money bid that Wall Street has. Okay, only $60 million a day coming into these products. We're still looking at wild sums of money. It's still twice what miners are producing from just one source, plus just the simple reality of how much money that means for a year. That's like $11 billion this year. Huge, huge, huge numbers. Price will go up. This guy's saying, why is there a supply crisis when there are still millions of Bitcoin on exchanges? This is something, it's a great question. I'm glad that you asked it. We're going to share most of the questions at the end, but I think it's relevant to the conversation right now. There are millions of Bitcoin on exchanges. Not millions per se. There's about 1.85 million Bitcoin currently sitting on exchanges. And you're going to go, I see there's no supply crisis going on. You have to understand a huge percentage of that Bitcoin is for trading, right? So it's not to say those people are just sitting there waiting for, okay, I just can't wait to sell it. $56,000, let's go. No, it's they're trading. They're trading back and forth. They're doing Bitcoin denominated perpetual swaps. They're trading versus altcoins, stuff like that, market making. Huge portion of that is market making versus altcoins. We're seeing other factors here as well, like people who are just lazy, man. You have to account for the general laziness of humans. A lot of people simply don't want to take their Bitcoin off Coinbase. My Bitcoin's on Coinbase, it's fine. That doesn't mean that they're selling it. They're just storing it there, and that's counted as being on the exchange. You see, just seeing a number, Bitcoin sitting on exchanges, it doesn't tell you the full story. It only tells you a part of the story. This is the problem with a lot of these financial transactions that we look at and say, well, something, look at all the Bitcoin currently sitting on exchanges. How can there possibly be a supply crisis? Because of the numbers I've just shared. The Bitcoin ETFs are buying double miner emissions every week. And a lot of that Bitcoin on exchanges is not necessarily for sale. If there wasn't a supply crisis, the price wouldn't be going up. If everybody was rushing to sell, the price would be flat or going down. But it's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I think it's a common misconception. So thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. That's a bit of context to add there. I think it's a lot of questions a lot of people would have had. Hey, by the way, look at this. MicroStrategy, man. The GOAT. Saylor was this. 3,000 more Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor's purchase this week is the equivalent of an entire week of Bitcoin miner production after April. He bought half of the supply that miners produced last week. Just one company. And we have other companies that are buying too. Reddit's buying. That big Chinese companies with Baya, I can't remember what the name was. Just some big gaming company in China nobody in the West knows the name of, but they bought $100 million worth. Come on, like everybody, look at what's going on here. Look at the numbers, start doing the math, and there's a lot of things to add up in that mathematical equation, but it's getting crazy. Bitcoin ripping, let's go. Let's go, $55,000. Yeah, what up? I love it. You love it. Great to see. Thanks for hitting it up in the chat there, guys. Bitcoin over 55K. Look at it going. Our boy. Now, Bloomberg analysts predicting spot Bitcoin ETFs could pass gold ETFs in assets under management in less than 2 years. Again, Bloomberg ETF guys. So gold's pain is Bitcoin ETFs gain in store value smackdown. The initial success of spot Bitcoin ETFs has been sweetened by declines in both price and interest in gold ETFs, setting up a battle for assets. Bitcoin ETFs, though barely 6 weeks old, have taken over $8 billion more than gold peers, already having 40% as much in assets and could pass them in size in less than 2 years. My thought on that, no disrespect to Eric, is that 2 years is way too long of a time frame. This year, I could see it this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Gold ETFs could struggle to keep their $90 billion in assets, partly due to performance. Yeah. And hey, look, maybe this year's too optimistic. Maybe Eric's a little more on spot here. $90 billion is a lot of money. But look at this, man. Think about that, $90 billion. If we hit $90 billion in these spot Bitcoin ETFs, you understand what that does to the price, right? We're talking hundreds of percent of gains here potentially, because the Bitcoin markets are thin. This is the problem. Not a lot of Bitcoins out there for sale. Miners running out of supply. OTC desks running out of supply, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting. Okay, now let's have a quick shout out to BitGet, guys. You want to do some crypto trading? You want to trade spot altcoins? You want to trade some futures? Check out BitGet. You can get up to $30,000 in trading bonuses using the link in the description. So if you're looking for a place to do your trading, join 20 million registered users over on BitGet and enjoy your trading over there. Thank you, of course, for using the referral link in the description if you decide to make your account. So let's talk real quick about altcoins. Let's blast into this. Mickey Bull Crypto sharing altcoin market cap has officially entered into the expansion phase. We have exited, as we discussed before, we're exited the major accumulation phase. Still a lot of great opportunity between now and when we start cracking into price discovery for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that moment is rapidly approaching. Look at this, man, 55K today. Bitcoin, what's going on? 18, 19% away from all-time highs now. Crazy stuff, man. I want to point this out as well because it's very interesting. The total market cap of all crypto coins right now, about that's a little bit higher than that, wasn't it? Yeah, $2.18 trillion. So this chart's just a little bit out of date. $2.18 trillion. What up? Exciting. So this is very interesting because when was the last time going up that we hit this? Because it's very, very fascinating to point out. Right about there, mid-April 2021. Now, if you weren't here for mid-April 2021, those were crazy times, man. This was a wild time in the market. We did things back then. It was nuts. Anyway, the vibe was totally different. Those were new paradigm of money vibe moments. That's not what I'm seeing right now. I'm not seeing new paradigm money vibes on social media. Yeah, people are here. Yeah, it's big exciting. But you have to understand this run is so heavily driven at this point by institutional money who are quiet. You're not seeing big hedge fund managers go out there and go, yeah, man, we're going to YOLO $1 billion into Bitcoin. No, they just do it quietly. This is very interesting. Price-wise, market cap-wise, total crypto market cap, we're back to April 2021 levels. Sentiment-wise, we're very far away, which means market cap's going a lot higher this market cycle. A lot higher. Now, does that mean we get to $10 trillion? That's the number you're going to see bantered about a lot. I don't know, and I get suspicious thinking of such large numbers because it's a big fat round number that feels like, yeah, we want $10 trillion market cap, but then you're going to get like 8.3 or some crap, and then it goes down. Right? So just be careful about keeping in mind these big price targets, right? You're going to be told it's going to go to $500,000, which is basically a $10 trillion market cap just for Bitcoin, by the way. So keep check of the wild bull posting that will start coming at some point. Hey, I want to talk about airdrops real quick as well. Patrick Scott posted this, which was a report from CoinGecko, but is it better to sell or to hold an airdrop? So pretty interesting data, actually, that 46% of the top airdrops hit their all-time high within the first 2 weeks. And then, of course, 54% hit their all-time highs after 2 weeks within a year afterwards. Now, it's an interesting thing with airdrops. You really just never know. Sometimes you're going to get the airdrop and you panic sell it, and that's the best time to sell. Sometimes you got to hold them. And so it's really just a game. With airdrops, for me, I always look at, well, how much do I have right now? Do I want to add more to this while everyone else is selling off their airdrop? Doesn't always work out. I've recently bought 2 airdrop tokens that have underperformed the market recently. I hope, of course, that they turn around and put in some nice gains, but Bitcoin is sucking the air out of the room right now. But hey, there's some nice information for you to think about next time you get an airdrop. Basically 50-50 chance whether you're going to sell in the first 2 weeks and look like a genius, or hold it for 2 weeks or more and look like a genius. Great. Hey guys, the Parcel airdrop is happening. Parcel airdrop. So coming in April, the Parcel Network token. This is interesting. So pre-listing markets are putting it at about 1 cent per 4 Parcel tokens. So that's points wise, how many points you get. So it'll be interesting to see what the final price is, how big the airdrop is. I mean, some people have like wild amounts of points. But I've been farming that. We've been mentioning that farming this opportunity. Hopefully it ends up being a nice airdrop. We're also farming this one in the 10K to 100K challenge in the newsletter. So hopefully it's a nice little boost for our experiment portfolio over there. It'd be nice to see. But hey, if you're farming that, token's coming in April. Token's coming in April, guys. So it's that's pretty exciting to see. Now, if you want to check that out as well, go to Parcel. You can find them online. Go to Parcel, and if you enter the code LARK, L-A-R-K, you'll get a 5% bonus if you are interested in doing that. So interesting. I love airdrops. They've been making a lot of money. They've been going great. It's fantastic. Another big one coming up, which I do not have any of, and I'm sure I will be regretting not putting a cheeky 10 ETH or something over on Blast, is Blast mainnet, February 29th. That's 2 days from now. Congratulations to the Blast team and their $2 billion in total value locked. I think that'll be something that's going to be a big story on your timeline for the coming weeks. Cool, man. We talked a lot about that yesterday in the stream, so I don't want to go in too much to detail on that, but the official date has been announced. So there you go. Now, let's look at today's portfolio roast. You guys can let me know if this is something useful for you, if it's something you'd like to see again in the future. But portfolio roast. Some guy reached out the other day, said, hey, man, roast my portfolio. I said, yeah, maybe. Then I decided, screw it, let's do it. So this dude says he's 22 and he's got about $30,000 saved up and invested into crypto. You can see his holdings here. So my general thoughts on this, you can read the full post on X if you really want to go into detail with this a bit more, but my general thoughts here. First, he's not staking any of his coins. And what's fascinating is how many people in the comment section are like super anti-staking, like, don't stake your coins, you're gonna lose all your money. There's a huge gap in knowledge in crypto. Huge gap in knowledge. So if you're looking at staking your coins, I'm not advocating for staking on an exchange. I'm not advocating for lending your coins, which a lot of people have mistaken for the concept of staking. Staking and lending are fundamentally different things. When you give your money to an exchange to lend into the liquidity markets and stuff like that, that's lending. Okay? Liquidity provision. Now, you can stake via an exchange like Kraken or Binance or Coinbase. But again, then you're trusting the exchange with your coins. That's not what I'm talking about here. That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for you get your coins on a damn hardware wallet and you stake from your hardware wallet. Now, in this guy's case, he's missing out on anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a year at the current prices on staking yields that he could be getting. Plus, of course, potential airdrops that he could be getting. For example, his Polkadot. Now, his Polkadot's held on his wallet, so he will be able to claim, for example, the dead airdrop when it comes out. But he's missing out on the 17% or whatever staking rewards right now, which, hey, it's $170 a year in a 30K portfolio. It's not that bad, right? It's not that bad. So that's one of my biggest criticisms is stake the coins, man, because if he stakes now, those coins, if they all go up 5 to 10x, your staking rewards are going to be worth 5 to 10x. So that's a lot of extra cash that could come into a relatively small portfolio. You look at that $2,000. Yeah, well, if that 2,000 turns into 10 or 15 from that. Anyway, that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Generally, this guy's got a pretty low risk profile. He's not doing a lot of trading, which is pretty smart. A lot of people are going to underperform via trading, and you're actually going to probably beat a lot of traders by just holding your positions. He's holding his coins on his hardware wallet, not on exchanges, which again, smart. I like it. Well done. It's cool stuff. He's avoiding riskier low caps. Now, it's interesting because I asked everybody on X, hey, what are your opinions for this guy? Everyone's saying, take more risk, get more low caps, buy more shit coins. Okay. You have to understand, everybody has their own risk profile. And this is one thing that I hope, this is not financial advice, guys. This is, I hope I'm teaching you frameworks and lessons that you can apply in your own life, in your own investing journey. And I hope it has some kind of value for you. Okay. Always remember that. Obviously, investing in crypto is risky. Check the risk statement in the description or the pinned comment on X. You can also see my portfolio disclosures there. So he's avoiding riskier low caps. He's focused solely on mid caps and big caps, which is a totally fine strategy. This is something that, you know, his portfolio could 10x. It has a 10x potential. If the market cap really gets that crazy, if we go up to a $6-7 trillion total market cap for crypto, he's going to do just fine by taking lower risk. Like all the coins here, my guess is that all the coins here will still be here throughout the bull run. But if you start really gambling on those low cap coins, you can get outsized gains without doubt, but it's a different game. It's a different game. And everybody's got their own risk tolerance. So a lot of people are in the comment section, they're saying this guy, hey, take more risks, take more risks, take more risks. You have to know your risk tolerance, what kind of risks you're willing to take with your money. Don't let other people define your risk tolerance for you because it's your money, not their money. With their money, they can take whatever risks they want, but not for you. You should do your own risk, okay? He's generally planning on doing a ladder out strategy for his coins, which should turn out pretty well for him, would be my guess. So that's pretty good. Obviously, the trick then is to stick to that plan when the time comes. Now, he's not doing any airdrop farming, not essential. I'd like to point that out. That's taking risks, and he doesn't like taking risks, and that's fine. If it were my portfolio, I would take those risks because just one airdrop in such a small portfolio of 30K, and yeah, 30K, I know it's big portfolio for a lot of people, it's small for other people, but in a 30K portfolio for a 22-year-old guy, I feel like you can take a few risks. Now, measured risks, right? Gambling on random shit coin number 2005 on CoinGecko is different compared to going, oh, look at this airdrop farm for Eigenlayer, for example, or something else. Some Solana farm that you can put some money into and, you know, get some gains out of in the future, hopefully. So there's a bit of difference here between your risk-taking portfolios, okay? Key lines. Everyone's saying Bitcoin's about to hit 56K. Oh my gosh. Look at this, guys. We're pumping. 55,667. What up? Oh, we're getting close, aren't we? We are getting close. Almost 56K. What is going on? Who knows something that we don't? Holy crap. I love it. What a stream. Loving it, guys. So you don't have to farm airdrops. You can just stake. But definitely, I feel like staking is something that should be happening in this portfolio because he's missing out on a lot of gains by not staking. So in total, he's got 15 coins, which I think is like the maximum amount probably for your more casual investor. Like I've got more coins. I'm full-time. Crypto is literally my full-time job, and I already feel like I have too many coins. He's got 15 coins. I would say that's a maximum. And I even sort of challenge him on some of his ideas here on, well, maybe you can consolidate some of these positions, for example. And these are just examples, okay? These are just examples. Cardano, people, don't lose your mind. You know, we all love Cardano around here, and we hope that it goes to the moon. But just as an example, looking at consolidating positions. Cardano versus Polygon, for example. Now he's got a big Polygon bag and a big Cardano bag. But if we just think realistically, the staking rates are about the same, but the market cap of Polygon is half. Does that mean it's going to double outperform Cardano? Not necessarily, but it could have the similar levels of return with a little less diversification in the portfolio, right? Metrics for Polygon generally looking a little more favorable than Cardano at the moment too. Not to say Cardano can't turn that around. Some great announcements and upgrades and stuff. But hey, that's just a thought, right? A thought. Not telling this guy what to do, not telling you guys what to do, but thinking about if you don't have that much time in the market, then why have so many coins when you're going to get a similar risk reward profile, potentially even a better, slightly risk reward profile by consolidating those positions a little bit. Uniswap, when I initially got the email from this guy, I was kind of thinking, Uniswap, what a waste of a coin. Well, now apparently going to do real yields. So I guess that's going to turn out okay for him if he stakes it, obviously, if he stakes it. Arbitrum, as a bag holder of Arbitrum and somebody who's been considering cutting that bag potentially, this is another thing I mentioned here is, well, why not cut Arbitrum for something else? Again, to consolidate your portfolio down a little bit and, for example, put it into Render, which has better staking rewards. Arbitrum has no staking rewards and might have some more excitement and momentum with the whole AI buzz and DeepIn buzz. Whereas Arbitrum, great network, love it, but that coin's really failing to capture strong value in the market right now. So these are just thoughts, again, ways to think about looking at your portfolio and thinking about how you're approaching your portfolio and all this kind of stuff. Now, overall, I think it's a relatively solid low risk portfolio. You guys can, of course, let us know your thoughts on that. But generally, I think it's a decent portfolio with a good potential for 5 to 10x gains. You think about that. If he can cash out in a good way, then he's got a great potential for a 22-year-old dude to be able to get a couple $100K out of this potentially. So that's interesting, right? Anyway, you guys let me know if you appreciate these kind of portfolio overviews. I might do a few more of them. Maybe not every week or something, but maybe we'll do them once in a while. Could be fun. It's interesting. I hope it's educational for you. That's the idea, of course, to be educational, get you guys thinking about your own portfolios, your own asset allocations, what you're doing with the things in your portfolio, et cetera, et cetera. Real quick note before we dive into your questions, guys, sign up newsletter. It's freaking awesome. You're going to love it. Best damn newsletter in crypto. It is. I know it's my newsletter and I'm biased, but it definitely is the best newsletter in crypto. Every week we share so much alpha in this thing. It's just insane. From all the reports that we're posting, the altcoin deep dives, the NFT reports, the airdrop reports. It's wild. Check it out. It's free. Link in the description. You join 100,000 plus weekly readers. So, big news section. Lots to talk about, to be honest. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, let's open up the floor to your questions. What do you guys want to talk about today? While you're cracking those thoughts around your head, let's crack a cold one. Or crack a room temperature one. Hey, by the way, guys, I got to say, I got an email today. I love it. You guys are awesome. Somebody actually wrote Perrier and said, you got to sponsor this guy's channel. Guys, I don't actually need Perrier to sponsor the channel. It's just, it's a fun joke we have here on the channel, but that's awesome. You guys are awesome. So, okay. Okay, where are we up to? Where is the hold on a second? Somebody had a good question up here. Brian said, Lark, if you had 2 Ethereum, would you sell that and buy 0.18 Bitcoin? 0.18 Bitcoin. I cannot tell you what to do. Obviously not financial advice. If I had that, if that was my sole portfolio, I got two Ethereum sitting here, I probably wouldn't sell that Ethereum. What I would do personally will be wait, because what's coming next? I know Bitcoin's pumping right now, and that's very exciting. It's very exciting. You love watching it pump. I love watching it pump. Gosh, we're at $55,800 right now, getting close to 56K, guys. Will we hit 56K this stream? Let me know in the chat. But what's coming next? An Ethereum ETF's coming, likely by May. So ETH is going to have its moment. ETH's been doing pretty decent recently. It just depends what you want, man. Do you think that you'd rather have that Bitcoin or that Ethereum? If you don't want to have Ethereum, well, that's a different equation. If you just got it for some kind of laugh or something and you want to just have Bitcoin because you prefer Bitcoin, fine, but understand that you might underperform versus Bitcoin as we see that Ethereum ETF hype heat up, especially if we start getting positive indications from the SEC that's likely to happen. Of course, the SEC could come out and say they're going to deny it, and then that screws everybody and your coins, and it would have been better to sell off. You never really know when it comes to swapping over from one coin to another. But hey, interesting thoughts nevertheless. Abe says, for someone like me who has only less than $2,000 in Bitcoin, Would you recommend holding it since it will become scarce or take profit? Can you help me think through? Well, first off, I'm not giving any recommendations about what you should do with your money, but if it were me and I was sitting on a portfolio and I guess I got $2,000 in Bitcoin, I don't know, man. It's really hard to say because I don't know what the rest of your portfolio looks like. Is Bitcoin 50% of your portfolio? If Bitcoin is 50% of my portfolio and I've got $4,000 portfolio, it's tough, but I'd probably take that Bitcoin and look for bigger gains elsewhere, which you'll be able to find in the altcoin market with higher risk. Obviously, Bitcoin's a much more certain bet. Depends on your risk levels too. Again, we talked about this. Yeah, Bitcoin is going to become very scarce over time. In terms of taking profits for such a small amount of Bitcoin, I don't know. For me, again, me, not you. For me, I would just hold that Bitcoin because financial freedom, having the asset, it's nice to have, isn't it? Unless you really need the cash. If you need the cash, it's different. If you don't need the cash, just chill. My thoughts, right? Okay. Let's try to keep on top of things here today, guys, and keep up with the chat, not get 10 minutes behind all the time. Thoughts on Hive Mapper as a D-pin play? We just did Hive Mapper as a report in Wealth Mastery last week, didn't we? So go there and check out our thoughts on it. D-pin's interesting. I like the concept. I don't have any Hive Mapper. I don't have a webcam in my car, but I like the idea that you could just drive around and think about the oh, we're $56,000, guys. What up, 56K? Think about the implications for that you can just be, if you're an Uber driver or a taxi driver, you just got to drive to work or you drive a lot for work, man, stick one of those bad boys in your car and get some free tokens. Why not? It's a cool idea. I like it. It's a cool idea. Okay. Where are we up to? Lure Productions. How do you minimize fees when cashing out? What's the best way to withdraw into fiat? Look, you need to get a good exchange account. In terms of minimizing fees, you should be expecting to pay between 0.1 to like 0.25% is kind of a reasonable fee to be paying. Anything beyond that, and you need to find a better exchange. Stuff like Coinbase Pro, do they have lower fees than the Coinbase? No, they're 0.5% on Coinbase Pro, aren't they? Depending on maker and taker volume. It's too complicated. Kraken, 0.2 or 0.25%. Binance is like 0.1%. A lot of exchanges have lower fees than Coinbase, by the way. And you can even, Coinbase is set up for your doing your withdrawals, okay? And that's how you get your money back to your bank. You can always sell on Binance. What? Wait a second. Hold on. Weren't we just at 56? We just hit $57,000, guys. What is going on? We are just mega Chad candling right now. What is happening here, man? Holy cow. What is going on today, Bitcoin? Damn. You love it. We love it. This is amazing. What a time to be alive. And this is before the Bitcoin halving. Holy crap. Just keep this up here while we answer questions. We can all watch the fun price action. So minimizing fees while cashing out. You might want to sell, for example, on an exchange like Binance that has 0.1% fees and then move your USDC over to Coinbase where you get certainty of a one-for-one exchange for that USDC and then withdraw to your bank account from there. So you need to have a good exchange account set up. Long story short. Okay. What is going on? What is going on out here, guys? Ooh, Robert R. I like this. What's the most important question we were talking about? What about after we get rich? Where's the safest place to store your money and how to diversify it? That's an interesting question. Because if you do well, then what? You're not going to sit in cash forever, are you? That's a losing proposition. You need to keep investing your money. What do you invest your money into? It's tough because you're always taking risks. Staying in fiat's a risk. Putting money in the bank is a risk. Investing in anything's a risk. That's why people use Bitcoin as their savings account. Obviously, you want to try and time that well. If you see markets pump and it gets really crazy and Bitcoin gets up to 300K or something like that, it's probably not the best time to go all in Bitcoin. It's probably a big bear market. It's going to go back down to 100K or something. You have a better buying opportunity later. So you can hold that cash and take the short-term hit on the cash to try and get a better position long-term for Bitcoin, for example. Gold, gold's kind of boring. Gold kind of underperforms realistically. Maybe we'll have a great gold rally one of these days, but until then, Bitcoin is the absolute winner by far. And I've got a little bit of gold and silver, but nothing big, guys. Nothing big. I wouldn't probably put much more money into gold and silver, to be honest. Just a little bit there is just, oh shit, insurance, I guess. So it comes down really to stocks, and real estate, and businesses. If you can have a cash flowing business, I don't know what your profession is, but if you can have a cash flowing business, maybe you are working a job and you don't work a job anymore, you start a business. Well, take some of your profits and go all in on that. Not all your money, obviously. I'm saying don't go in with all your money, but go all in on doing it, but not bringing all your money into it. Real estate's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's been a very, very popular way for people to make money over time. So not bad either, is it? And stocks, look, tech stocks have their seasons. And if there's a big recession, bear market, you're not going to want to put a bunch of money in at the top. You're going to want to wait. Dividend stocks tend to be a little less volatile. You can put some cash in there. For example, not financial advice, put some cash in there and let that run out. Now, my personal plan, going to go when the time comes, get out of the altcoins, go into cash and hold it for a little while. Wait a few months. Make sure the taxes are all taken care of properly. Sit back, relax, and then figure out what the next step's going to be. It's probably going to be a bit of real estate. It's going to be a bunch into stocks and then a bunch sitting in cash, waiting to just run the next cycle in crypto, basically. It's the idea anyway. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, guys, great questions coming through. I'm loving it. Great questions. Let's keep finding some cool questions here from you guys. Guy got caught up here. 5 minutes behind in the chat. You guys got so many great questions coming through. Nico says, what do you think would be better for this bull run as far as gaming, Illuvium or Engine? I think Illuvium, but it's only one game, whereas Engine embraces more gaming. Yeah, I feel it on that. Look, I haven't kept up with Engine for a while. I've got an Illuvium bag, so I guess I'm biased when it comes to that. Again, full portfolio disclosures in the description or in the pinned comment on X, but I've got a big Illuvium bag. I like Illuvium. I don't know. If I had to, somebody sat down and said, hey, here's your $10,000. You can only invest in one of these two coins. I would invest in Illuvium because I like the game. I like what they're doing. Not to say I don't like Engine. They've done great. They're one of the earliest pioneers in the gaming space in crypto. But I've already got a bunch of investments in sort of gaming infrastructure stuff. Myria, for example, is a less certain bet, but a much lower cap bet. Beam, higher market cap than Engine, but man, it's getting some crazy hype, isn't it? Huge token burns, great looking games coming up. That's all very exciting. So yeah, tough call, but I think I'd probably go for Illuvium personally. Okay. Bojan says, Lark, I have 75% of my portfolio in Ethereum. Do you think I should move more into lower caps now or towards the ETF announcement? Well, I can't tell you what to do with your money. Let's be super clear about that. But if it was my portfolio, there's some interesting thoughts here. If you just got this, again, so this is why it's always so hard to like, oh, what should I do with my money? I can't tell you what to do with your money because I have no idea. It's such a deep conversation. When did you get that Ethereum? Is it stuck up in staking somewhere that you have to wait to unstake? What was your original intent behind that? Is this just a short-term swing or is this, I don't know, right? There's so many questions that come into play here that are hard to answer in such a format. But here are some thoughts. 75% of your portfolio is in ETH. How are you using that Ethereum? There's two thoughts that come to mind. One, airdrop farming. Are you farming Eigenlayer, for example? I know you may not want to take the risks, and that's fine if you don't, obviously. You don't have to take risks. I've only risked about, 10-15% of my ETH in total in sort of airdrop farming stuff. What I've taken a lot of my ETH and done is to use my ETH to take cash loans against and then take the cash from those and buy things like Chainlink, for example. So I get to continue to have the exposure to ETH as it goes up. And I did this, by the way, using MakerDAO's Summer app. So you do have to pay interest on that loan. There is liquidation risks, all these sorts of things. I've always been very conservative in the loans that I take, not trying to take too much money in terms of loans. Let's take the Bitcoin charts off the table, here for a minute, guys. We'll come back if it starts pumping again. I'll keep my eye on it. So I try not to take very high risk loans. For example, my liquidation price on my Ethereum loans on the MakerDAO right now are like $1,500, something like that. So ETH would have to drop by 50%. And if I saw ETH drop by 40%, for example, tomorrow, I'd say, oh crap, I better go and pay down some of these loans a little bit because I have the capability to do that. So that's a thought. Maybe you want to take a loan versus that ETH or use it to farm. Now, in terms of getting into lower caps, look, there's always going to be low cap opportunities. And some of those low caps will probably outperform your ETH between now and then. But again, you have to think about the opportunity cost. Yeah, ETH will go up. Maybe ETH sucks the air out of the room for a little bit. And whether you get into a low cap now or later, there's still going to be opportunities. There's still going to be low cap opportunities all the time in this market. So you're not going to be missing out on anything, so to speak, unless you've got this one low cap that you absolutely have to have. You're watching it. It's at the best price ever. And you also don't have to take 75% of your portfolio. This is a thing too. You can just take 5% of your Ethereum, for example. Again, not telling you what to do, just giving you different frameworks to think about things here, right? I hope that's useful. Okay, where are we up to? Let's try and catch up again. As always, get like 5 minutes behind in the chat. Guys, so many great questions. Wish I had time to answer every single one of these. We're seeing some great questions coming through here. Do you think it's possible to get 10x from the current prices if the coins are from the top 40 in the coin market cap? If we go to a $6 or $7 trillion market cap, then a lot of the top 40 coins are probably still going to 10x, which is crazy. Some of them maybe even more, which is also insane to think about. You think about for even some of these coins right now, for some of them even to go back to their all-time highs is still like a 5-6x from here. And if we assume that we're going to get at least twice that, which is a big assumption to make, nobody knows. I can't predict the future. You can't predict the future either. We hope that economic conditions will not completely deteriorate and everything goes to shit. We hope that money keeps flowing to crypto. We hope that our ideas behind this bull market cycle are going to be correct and that we're going to see huge sums of money come in. We're going to see the market cap of all crypto coins go up to new highs, $6-7 trillion, maybe even 10 at a peak. Okay. If that's the case, yeah. Maybe not all of them will do it, though. Some of those coins. Is Ethereum Classic still in the top 10? Let's have a quick look here. Where is that? Where is that piece of crap? Bitcoin Cash. That garbage is number 21. What is wrong with crypto? Sorry, guys. Sorry if you're a big Ethereum Classic or Bitcoin Cash fit. Yeah, Ethereum Classic. Why is this here? Why does this have any value at all? Nobody uses Ethereum Classic for any reason. What is this junk? Anyway, lots of good coins out there, but they're not named Ethereum Classic or Bitcoin Cash. Sorry if that's your big thing and you're a big fan of those coins, but not my bag of tea. Bag of tea, cup of tea, whatever. Anyway, some coins, they're going to pump anyway because market's dumb. Anyway, welcome to crypto, guys. Okay, where are we up to? Where was that one? Nico says, my bull run portfolio, Illuvium, Moonbeam, Radium, Joe, and Cetify, thinking of selling at $10 billion market cap max. Thoughts? Might add PAL AI, but I don't know. Trying to diversify a lot. Yeah, decent plan, man. Decent plan. You have to have your profit-taking strategies in mind, guys. Whatever your portfolio looks like, keep in mind your profit-taking strategies. What are you going to do? How are you going to get out? When are you going to get out? These are really important things to think about. Unfortunately, a lot of people think about that stuff way too late. And look, you sell at a $10 billion market cap. Don't get too wedded to that, because I made this mistake last cycle. I had convinced myself that I do not need to sell any Wilder World until it hits $1 billion market cap. And it got up to like 830 million or something like that. And I didn't sell anything. And then it went back down. And it went from, $5 a token to 20 cents per token. Didn't take any money off the table. I got my ego in the way of making money. So be careful with those big, fat, round numbers. What if your coins only get up to $7 billion market caps? Then what? You going to ride those bags back down 99.99%? Just thoughts. Just thoughts. Okay. Lots of great questions here, guys. I'm loving it today. Oh, that's a good question. XV Ryan says, I'd like to pick your brain on a different topic. If we assume that the USD will collapse, then obviously all the other currencies pegged would do the same. With that in mind, what do you do? Yeah. The ever-present question, what happens if the dollar collapses? If the dollar collapses, hold on to your butts because the world economy is going to be in for a very rude awakening. And it'll be rarely do we see such systems collapse without any sort of violence happening. And I hope it's not World War III. I hope it's something I hope the USD just dies a slow, whimpering death, because it will die at some point. And I don't wish that upon the USD. I don't wish that upon Americans, because it's probably going to be a lot of pain for a lot of people around the world, which is very, very unfortunate. But the US dollar, with a $34 trillion national debt, with huge money printing continuing to happen, its days are numbered. Now, when I say the US dollar's days are numbered, those days could be a lot more days. Okay, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's a process that happens over years. And even the competitor nations like BRICS, for example, they got a lot of internal issues. China's got issues. Russia's obviously got issues. India's got issues, right? Everyone's got issues around the world. Not to say the US doesn't have issues, but so where's the great alternative right now to the USD? But yeah, if you're using USD pegged currencies, it's problematic. All right, guys, one or two more questions. We're going to finish up for today. Lots of great questions coming through. Okay, there we are. I got up here. Let me see. Lark, have you lost your confidence in Moonbeam? I feel like it hit $10, but I get the feeling you're a little on the fence with it. I'm hoping for $5. I think my glimmer bags right now, big bags of Moonbeam, they're sitting, they're staking, they're just in the background doing whatever they do. I don't really think about them or talk about them very much because there's not that much happening at the moment. I think around Polkadot 2.0 hype, we'll see Polkadot and Moonbeam taken off. Until then, we'll see. Could it hit $10? Sure. Will it? I don't know. I'd be pretty happy with $5 though. $5 make me pretty happy. If that happens, fantastic. If I think it's going to run even farther, well, that's great too. Jeff, price predictions for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Where will they peak this cycle? Look, I've been saying for a while 150K for Bitcoin. With the ETF hype, maybe we push a bit beyond that. In one of the videos over the weekend, I was breaking down where we are in the cycle, how we've sort of broken some things earlier, like the 0.618 Fibonacci line. And if we see a rhyme with the previous cycle, maybe we get up to the 3.618 Fibonacci line, which is about where Bitcoin topped in the last cycle. If that's the case, that implies like $215,000 Bitcoin, or just a little over 200K Bitcoin as like peak prices. We might be there for a couple days, for example, before we go back down. In that situation, we might see quite a bit of time spent over 150K, over the 2.618 Fibonacci line in that scenario. I don't know what's going to happen, but the inflows right now are pretty insane. We see the price action being crazy. We've never had this kind of price action right before Bitcoin halving. This cycle is in some ways quite different. So general thoughts on Bitcoin there. And the struggle for a lot of people is going to be is if we do get up to 200K. And I'm not sure if we'll, if we get up to 200K. I try to be a little more conservative these days in my price thoughts, just so we keep everyone grounded a bit in reality. I'd rather be wrong to the downside than to the upside, because at least when you're wrong to the downside, it's more likely you've taken some money off the table versus like, it's going to go to 500K and then it doesn't go to 500K and you ride everything back down 90% again. That's not fun. But okay, let's say it goes higher. Maybe it does, but I think the risk is going to be that at 200K or even 150K, that's when everybody starts saying it's going to $500,000. And you have to understand the gap between $150,000 and $500,000 is $7 trillion freaking dollars in market cap. So you have to think about this kind of stuff. Ethereum in that situation, as I've said before, I'd be happy to sell my ETH over 10K. Not saying I'm going to sell it at 10K, but be happy to sell it over 10K. 10K is the point where I'm like, okay, let's get out of this bad boy and start watching. 15K, I think, could be a interesting area for Ethereum this cycle, especially when we start getting those ETFs pushing price behind it. Some people are already throwing around 20K, which doesn't sound completely unrealistic, but again, be careful of those big numbers. 20K is going to come, and you're going to get 20K, and then it goes to like $17,900, and you don't sell because you thought it was going to go to 20K, and then you ride it back down 75, 80%. Plus, also keep in mind, again, the risks of the house of cards being built right now with Ethereum staking. So you can take your Ethereum and you can stake it. And you can do a liquid stake through someone like Lido Finance. You can take your liquid staked coin and you can restake that with someone like Eigenlayer, but you can do it through somebody like KelpDAO, and then you can take your restaked coin and restake that with somebody else. Are you seeing what's happening here? This is part of the leverage for this cycle going up, and it'll be part of leverage going down later on. I hope I'm wrong on that, but it's a risk that I see brewing in the market right now. Okay, one final question, guys, and we are going to finish up for today. Lots of great questions here, though. Lots of great questions. Oh, guys, I'm seeing the super chats. Thank you very much. I try to answer some of the super chats, but not exclusively. But thanks for the super chats. We're trying to find what I think are going to be the best, interesting questions. Alchemist says, "Don't take a round trip to Clown Town." That's right, man. You'd have to sell your ETH at 10K just not to lose your profit with the gas fees, dude. I know. I know. Should we wait with buying ARB because the unlock will happen on 16th of March? I don't know. I'm wondering if market makers are going to try and push the price up a little bit before then. We'll see how we go. Lark, how crypto friendly is New Zealand? Let me finish up there. It's okay. Certainly not the capital of crypto friendliness. And remember back in 2018, somebody was like meeting with politicians, like, we got to do like crypto stuff here, man. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. The tax department thinks that crypto's taxed adequately the way that it is. We don't need any upgrades to our tax system. And as somebody who spends a lot of money on taxes in New Zealand, I can tell you, there are certain areas where we could definitely improve our tax system here. In terms of other things, look, a lot of people in New Zealand use crypto, or I say use crypto, invest in crypto. You don't see a lot of stuff happening out there in the real world. Very rare, actually. I remember back in 2018 when I got a haircut using Bitcoins, one of the few places in town that actually accepted Bitcoin. That guy, I hope he kept his Bitcoin, by the way. I don't think that barbershop's there anymore. Otherwise, I'd go ask them. But it's interesting because, like, when I was in Turkey last year, man, as soon as you get to the airport, signs everywhere. Boom, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin at this exchange, Bitcoin over here, Bitcoin there, Bitcoin there. All over the city where we were. We were in Antalya, and all over the cities. Signs up on the window. We accept Bitcoin. Bitcoin accepted here. Now, Turkey is one of the biggest adopting countries in the world. But have I literally ever seen a Bitcoin accepted here sign in New Zealand? I'm not sure that I have. And I'm sure there's some pubs or somewhere that do accept Bitcoin. But man, it's few and far between if they are. So there you go. People invest, definitely. But I think the country could do a lot to make it better here. Anyway, guys, you're awesome. We've been streaming for an hour. It's time for me to go. And I don't know, do something. Enjoy the pump. Hope you guys had a great time in the stream today. Thanks so much for joining. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you in the next stream. Peace.